today, it emerged that banking giant AIG is contemplating suing for what they claim was unfair treatment during the financial crisis, even after receiving $182 billion in bailout money. And it's got Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren very mad. So, Zach, Warren's heart isn't exactly bleeding for AIG. Is yours?
No, it honestly really never has. This has been a pretty aggressively obnoxious company since the bailout. It was obnoxious before the bailout, but their new CEO, who I was surprised today to realize is the same guy who has been running that company since 2009, right after they were bailed out. When he was first installed in his position, he called members of Congress crazies. He threatened to quit after there were executive pay restrictions placed against AIG. He demanded to have his own private jet. I mean, just all sorts of stuff that was totally tone deaf in the context of what taxpayers were doing to support his company. And so the fact that he's still doing kind of crazy things or suggesting crazy things doesn't surprise me that much. But to put this in context, it's not just that AIG got a really, really sweet deal at the very beginning of the bailout. That bailout was renegotiated 3 different times by the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Department in order to make the terms more favorable to AIG. So they agreed to one set of terms in the fall of 2008, and then another set of terms that were more favorable, and another set of terms as AIG proved unable to live up to the terms of the original agreement. They could always have just chosen to file for bankruptcy at any point in time and not take these very generous terms that the federal government was offering them, much better than what they could have received on the open market at that time.
Now, I mean, they still have to, I guess, decide on this when they have a meeting on Wednesday. But is there anyone out there that is advocating for AIG and saying that they really do have a case against the government?
I haven't heard anybody say that. I mean, when you look for really big, hardcore Wall Street apologists in most of the media, what they say is that TARP worked, that TARP was a good thing, that the bailout of the banks was great. You don't see people saying, you know what, the banks would have been so totally awesome and just fine if it weren't for the federal government stepping in and meddling with that crazy bailout thing. That never happened. And so I can't see anybody in the financial community really coming out and defending AIG. And if they do really believe that, they know that this is politically toxic, that they've taken such a beating for the last 5 years that there's absolutely no reason to go and shoot themselves in the foot over defending a company that's deeply, deeply unpopular and behaving in a totally obnoxious manner.